Hi, it's Phil here. In this video we're going to be using Student Manager to check and prepare your data for the July MoE returns. This is for secondary and area schools. Before you start, you need to check that your version of Student Manager is up to date. Look in the upper left hand side of the screen and make sure that after the word version you've got a 13. If it's not, then you need to go to the downloads page on the Music website and download an update to the latest. It's always a good idea to stay up to date, so you may want to check this anyway. Once you're ready to go, click on the MoE Returns button. And here, the first place you should go is to the second last button, Review Subject Codes. Click on this. Through here you've got your subjects down the left hand side, and then as you click on each one, the options and the details will appear further to the right. You could click through each one and check all the information there, but you're best to go across to Print List and tick various combinations in here, produce a preview that you can then print out. Double clicking will also do that. And have a good closer look at what you've got attached to each subject. You should also go to the Hours tab and look through how many hours you've got attached to options there. Remember, as it says just here, if you've got an option that only lasts for part of the year, enter the hours as if it was for the full year, because the configuration you have set in the option structure will work this out and put it onto the Ministry Returns tables accurately. Once you've configured this area, then click Close and you're back onto the Ministry Returns area. You should be checking your data as you go through the year, especially just before a returns time. It gives you plenty of time not to rush it as the day of the returns approaches. Let's click on Validate Data to do this. And here, make sure it's set on July for the July returns. The active database and the leavers database are both on CM, the main database. If your school has an MoE approved enrolment scheme, click on Yes and then enter the date that was approved from. When unusual data is found, especially for the first time through, just put it on print only those with errors. You can now click Save Defaults and these will be there for the next time through. Let's click Validate Data. This screen, enter the option sets using the drop downs and how many weeks they've been active for, and then click Save and Continue. The software will now zip through and will list up how many errors and how many warnings it found. Remember, errors must be corrected before you continue with your preparation of your data, but warnings are probably just outside of parameters, and we can list these as one of the tables and look through them all in one. Click on OK and the errors will pop up. You can note these down or you can print them out if there is more than a list in the screen. We can see here in our first error that we've got a full-time student, but their full-time equivalent rating is only 0.8, so we need to edit that. This rolls through into another error saying a student under 16 wouldn't usually be part-time. So fixing the one thing will probably correct both errors. We now have a student with a funding year level of 11, but their age is 5, which is a bit unusual for a secondary school, so we've probably got a date of birth wrong. With our last error, we've got a student with a Maori ethnicity, but nothing in the iwi code field, so we need to go and fix that as well. Click Close down the bottom right, and then we can go and edit and correct these errors. We'll open up the first student, and we can see here their age is 5, so it means we've got their date of birth incorrect. We can edit this, and then move through to the next student. Their problem was they're a full-time student, but only 0.8 in the FTE field. So we'll go through to the Ministry Details page, which holds a lot of MoE returns information. And we can see here, here's the FTE field, full-time equivalent. Click into there. We can get rid of this value and add 1.0. When we go to change out of this field, it'll ask for a reason for change. It's quite an important field. So we can just put in the error correction. And click OK. This next student, we had Maori for an ethnicity, but nothing in the iwi field. So we'll click into there, choose the right iwi, and we've corrected all our errors. We can now click Close, and then go back to the MoE Returns area. Now that we've sorted out all our errors, we can go and prepare the data file, so it will then in turn create the Ministry Returns tables. Remember, this data file is the one that actually goes off to the Ministry electronically, ready for them. It's important to note, if you do come back and make changes in your data, you need to come back through Prepare MoE Data File and then re-look at your tables. You can't just make changes to your data and come back to the print MoE returns tables. So let's click on prepare MoE data file, shift it to July again, leave the other settings where they were, and go and prepare MoE returns file. This message pops up, click yes. Again, continue through your option selections, and the data will zip through again, checking. This time we've got no errors, and we've got the 24 warnings, which we can list as one of the tables to look through and along with the statistics. And we can click OK, and the software will go through and create the file ready to create the tables from that. So the third button down is print MoE returns. And here again select July, and we get a list of all the tables, and see the bottom one relates to those warnings we had, and we can list those out and have a look. Include the logo if you like from MUSAC. We can now go and proceed to print. After a few seconds you'll get a pop-up just telling you it's going to put some further lists at the end of these tables for you to have a look through. Click OK on that, and then you'll see the tables being prepared in the little list below the buttons. After a few seconds you'll get a preview of the first table, and here it is. This is where you need to print all of these tables out, have a good look through, and as I said earlier, if you do make any changes to the data which will alter these numbers, you need to go back to prepare MoE data file and run through that and then print your tables, not simply come back and reprint the tables. It is generated from the text file that this button here has produced. You can see there's quite a number of pages here because towards the end are all the roles and stuff that need to be handed out to teachers to mark, but you can have a look at those as well through the print MoE audit list. And here we've got print the full school, and we'll have a quick look at that. Select July, print audit list. And this is a good table to have printed out as an ongoing check as you work towards the July returns time. You can see data on your students, and it's just an alphabetical list that's going through your whole school. There was also choices about horizontal and vertical lists. This also contains the fields where the teachers mark their attendance for the 3 roll count days, the 28th of June and the 1st and 2nd of July. You could print these out earlier and get the teachers to check these through and then reprint them ready for those 3 days. You've also got the Murray language resourcing list and the exchange fee paying and the not funded list, which is a good idea to spit out and have a look through at the same time. Once it's July the 1st or later and you've got your data all checked and you're happy with all the numbers, you can then go to the MUSAC electronic roll return button. And here you can check the connectivity between your school and the Ministry of Education servers. If you have an issue here, contact your technician and they can look at firewall settings and proxies and things like that. Once you're ready to go, you can click submit.moe file to the Ministry, and after a couple of confirmations your file will be then sent ready to the Ministry. For further details on this whole procedure, we have notes on our website under the support area.